The Punished is a new blindfolded mod character that fights in a very unique way and is playable with just one hand. He comes with base Isaac stats and has his own pocket item called Liberation. While in a hostile room, up to 2 red cracks will appear on the ground. Stepping on one of them will spawn a ghost that homes in on the nearest enemy and explode on contact. This basically works like the purgatory item, but you get more than one crack and it is your main source of damage since you can't shoot any tears. The Punished also has a permanent vengeful spirit orbital that can be used offensively, but also to shoot down stuff like poops and fireplaces, mainly to prevent soft blocks. The projectile damage of the orbital is very low compared to that of the spirit blasts, and you should not focus on using it too much. Your main way to fight are the rifts. The entire character basically plays like its own little minigame, which is a very refreshing concept, but this is just the tip of the iceberg. There's a lot of stuff that I need to show you. But let's get the basics out of the way first. He starts with 2 soul hearts and 1 black heart, but he is not a soul heart only character, he can still get red health just like Isaac. The spirit orbital works exactly like those from the vengeful spirit item. It shoots with a set, very low fire rate and deals 3 damage plus 0.1 per floor after the first one. The contact damage on the other hand is really strong and should always be utilized. The spirit deals half your damage per tick at a very high rate of 15 times per second. But it is very important to know that the orbital does not block any enemy tears, it can only be used for offense. Let's talk about what each of the stats does for the Punished. The most obvious one is probably damage, because it works just like it would for the ghosts of the purgatory item. Each exploding ghost hits a target up to 4 times, and each of those blasts deals twice your damage, which means that damage ups are really valuable for the Punished. In the beginning of the video I told you that you can only have 2 of the rifts on the screen, but that was only part of the truth, because you can increase them with your tears stat. Getting a tears up has 2 benefits for the Punished. It will increase the number of rifts that will spawn, and it will also make them spawn significantly faster as well. A high tear stat is very important for the Punished, as it grants you a lot more freedom in where you can move, due to more and faster spawning options for rifts. It is also worth to note that big rooms will grant you a 50% increase in rifts by default, to balance out the longer distance that you have to walk. This is especially important for endgame bosses like Hush. The range and shot speed stats are completely useless for the Punished, but there are ways for him to make use out of those items anyway. More on that later in the video. But your stats are not the only thing that affects the ghosts. They will also make use out of most tier effects in the game and apply them to the explosion at the end. Shot multiplier items like Mutant Spider or 2020 will also do exactly what you think they would, increasing the number of ghosts that come out of a single rift. Keep in mind that some of those items may also come with a decrease in tears and thus reduction in rifts, but seeing such a big mess of ghosts flying around is a lot of fun. There's also a good amount of hard-coded synergies like Technology, Brimstone and Dr. Fetus, just to name a few, and more of them may also get added later on. I will not show all of them in detail, but you probably get the idea. Most of them will create additional projectiles that are added to the blast at the end, based on the item you got. Now it is time to talk about the Punished's unique pocket item Liberation. The first thing you need to know is that it can't be charged by batteries at all. The only way to charge the item is by stepping on your rifts, and you can only charge it up once in each hostile room. Leaving the room will also deplete the full charge. Liberation may seem simple at first, but it actually has multiple effects at once. When used in a hostile room, an effect similar to the astral projection item will trigger. The time in the room will stop for 2 seconds, allowing you to deal 3 damage with your Orbital. This also grants flight and spectral tears until the effect goes away. You will stay in the ghost form until you clear the room or get hit, but the best thing about this is that the hit will not deal any damage to you, basically negating 1 hit in each room. The second effect of Liberation is very important for your rift count. Going into the ghost form will lock the number of rifts that are currently in the room. Usually the rifts need time to respawn whenever you use them, but in the ghost form all locked rifts will instantly respawn, allowing you to deal damage at a faster rate. This ability isn't too impactful in regular rooms, but you should definitely try to use Liberation with the max rift count against bosses to greatly increase your DPS. The third ability of Liberation is very simple. It will destroy any obstacles around you when you use it. This can be used to destroy tinted rocks or even open secret room doors. Remember that you can only use Liberation once per room, so always think carefully about your situation. There might be a spot where you can make use of the break effect. You may have already noticed it, but using Liberation will also cause a phantom hit effect like that of the Dull Racer item. This may seem like nothing too special, but it enables many synergies with on-hit items like Piggy Bank or Infestation. But we are not done just yet. There's one more ability left. Do you remember when I said you can do something with useless range and shot speed items? Using Liberation while items are in the room will reroll all of them into ghost bombs. This allows you to get at least some value out of otherwise bad items. And for this ability alone, Liberation will get a free charge once in each room that contains items, like treasure rooms, shops and secret rooms, even without enemies in them. But you might not want to use too many of your bombs, because there's a little secret built into this mechanic. Each bomb in your inventory grants you a 0.66% chance that the item will be rerolled into Birthright instead of ghost bombs, up to a maximum chance of roughly 65% at 99 bombs. The punished's Birthright itself is rather simple. It causes the reroll ability of Liberation to not only reroll into ghost bombs, but use its own unique item pool instead. The items used for this effect are a collection of ghost-themed items, which further adds to the flavor of the character. This was everything I wanted to show you about this interesting new character. He might seem complicated at first, but I assure you the gameplay feels very new, refreshing and intuitive. And if you like his concept, you can also look forward to the fact that he comes with a tainted version as well as full unlocks for both characters, which I will all cover in the near future.
He's the number one, Isaac! God's favorite son. His flowing robes reach down from heaven.